This experiment station was established in 1916. It was located in the heart of the sheep and goat industry. At the time it was established, the ranchers put up half the money for the land and the Texas A&M put up the other half. The ranchers saw a need because they were having health issues with their livestock. Initially, those health issues were mostly poisonous plants. Eventually, the research expanded into range-type research and included things such as rangeland hydrology, prescribed fire, as well as animal nutrition and performance testing of livestock to improve the quality of the sheep and goat industry. You can start off with a juniper-free landscape in about 50 years. If you don't do anything to manage it, you have a cedar break. And that has real negative effects on livestock carrying capacity as well as wildlife habitat. Water availability increases erosion. It can put you out of the ranching business. Historically, this country has had combination of cattle, sheep, and goats. Multi-species grazing, just kind of a rule of thumb, will increase your productivity by about 25% compared to running one single species alone. Goats in combination with prescribed fire is the most cost-effective, sustainable method we have in managing cedar. In a drought year, or series of drought years, our deer income is really not adversely affected and can represent up to 60% of our income during those drier years. Now, if we have an average year or above average year as far as precipitation, livestock income might represent 70 or 80%. This is kind of the southwestern part of the Edwards Plateau of Texas. Most of our soils are derived from Edwards limestone, which may have a lot of rocks on the surface of the soil. The soils are shallow. There's not a lot of storage capacity for precipitation. The grasses probably represent about 60% of the vegetative component, forbs about 10 to 15%, and then woody plants would represent the remainder. Live oak represents about 10% of the vegetative complex. Juniper can represent from 5% on up to 60%, depends on how well it's managed. The mixture of goats and sheep in with the cattle mixture is a good combination. We average about 22 inches of precipitation a year, but that ranges from, or has ranged from 6 inches up to 40 inches since the establishment of the station. It's originally described as a grassland savanna. More recently, the predominant landscape has shifted to more of a woodland. Over the years, the number of people that have lived on this station has kind of ebbed and flowed depending upon the kind of research that was being done. Probably the peak number of people that lived out here was during the 70s and early part of the 80s when there was range research, animal science research, rangeland hydrology research, some prescribed burning, animal nutrition, wildlife research, quite an array of different research activities, and I feel like we have an excellent working relationship. The ranchers, local ranchers in particular, are very supportive of the work we do here, and we try to be responsive to their comments and suggestions.